Do it.
It's 10 o'clock. We gotta go.
Yeah.
We are now at the behest of all the Rooster Teeth firsties out there.
Oh yeah, that's right. The firsters.
First
Don't
as.
call it firsties.
So, well,
My goal is now to put as many Z's in that word as I possibly can. If I can make it all Z's, I think that
the
would be appropriate.
fisters.
Yeah, we're calling them the firsted.
if you
I
want to
don't know
get
if we should be
fisted,
above board about my secret campaign. So it's
fisted?
Frist and then just Fist. They're RT Fists.
that's good.
What?
I swear that's such a good name. Then the icon can be a little fist.
Oh.
Oh
if
man,
you
yeah,
have
fight the
wrists?
power.
If you have double gold, it's a fist and then a
Oh.
little butt, and it's just getting
You were
closer
talking
and
about V
closer.
for Vendetta, weren't you?
I was.
Now
I
it's
love
even
that
more
movie.
V for Vendetta.
That was a cool movie.
It was.
Remember when he
terrible
saw those words
comic
that
book.
start with V?
I'm just kidding.
That was
I
cool
want to
scene.
just get Alan Moore upset one day.
You won't.
Easy.
He's always upset.
I know.
No, he's always having
You don't
sex.
have to
Be
do
like,
anything.
just say
Wasn't it-
something like, "Don't fuck your sister."
Yeah, he's always
His-
having orgies. He's never upset.
He's
Gross.
not having orgies.
No, but that's the thing. He's always upset. That's
No, he's
that's
not.
that's
Dash
the
through 'em when
complaint.
they're all
He's like,
Otherwise-
he's like the Hulk.
can't tell.
Dash through him.
Well, no, he's
There you
just
go.
always like, you know,
wear glasses, dude.
you would think someone who has orgies all the time wouldn't be upset as much, but he's like, I'm still complaining about the world.
All right, let's do this proper. Welcome to a more lonely bowl of dude soup.
What?
Our good friend, the United Kingdom, left us. Now we're here all alone.
They're still here.
Also,
They can still
we lost all
watch.
those subscribers. No.
Oh yeah, that's right. The subscribers left too.
Oh,
We'll
Jeez,
talk
we are
about that
lonely.
later. Ooh.
We're playing Mighty Number 9 today because it's out now, as opposed to last week when it wasn't.
Yeah.
Was that last week?
Yeah.
Shit,
Yes.
man, I'm losing
Absolutely.
track of
It was a
time.
long
So
time
much
ago.
stuff has been happening. We went
Last
to
week was
Vid-Con.
busy. We can talk about that
Yeah,
too.
we will.
Wait, was last week Let's Play Live? No, it wasn't.
No.
That was the week before.
Shit, me.
Last week was VidCon,
yeah,
baby.
Last
Yeah.
week was VidCon.
Oh, we can talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Also, can you guys please do me a favor and talk about the most interesting thing right off the top so we can name the podcast something appropriate?
Sure.
Sure.
Jeez.
What are we going to
Jeez,
talk
you
about?
guys.
What's the most interesting thing?
I got a haircut.
Oh boy,
That'll
that's-
work.
That's not
I
gonna,
like your haircut, by
that's
the
not
way.
a very good title.
It's
You
extremely
guess
trim.
where I went?
Wow, look, the
The place that
subscribers
I told
came
you
back.
to go.
I tried to go there, but they were closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When
God
did you
damn it.
go?
I went all the way over there to the awesome place with the old men that cut your hair
Yeah.
and don't give a fuck about anything.
And just cash only, baby.
And the entire strip was out of power. So they were just, there was like a
Ooh.
note taped up on the door.
What place?
Even the vegan joint?
Where was it?
It's Rio's.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question. Why are some places still cash only in this day and age?
Taxes. bro.
Choice. Yeah.
And they also don't want to deal
They're
with
all
like,
generally
credit cards and all
sketchy.
that. And usually they're like older. It's an older generation too.
Okay.
They don't want to fuck
I was
with
gonna
it.
say, I mean, because like Square's a thing,
And
and
grab all that cash and shove it under their bed.
Square. Oh, you kidding me? They're like
Formal.
70 years old. They barely
Yeah,
know how to use a
there's
phone.
no way.
I
Yeah,
honestly,
no
I
way.
thought
Dash into him.
Square
Do
is
it.
Square's a simpler option than getting a credit card machine.
I mean,
It's
it is,
just-
but they have to figure out how to use the app and the little thing.
And they have to
the-
own an
And
iPad.
they have to, yeah.
I mean, apps are for dumb babies.
I
That's
re-
why
so-
iPhones were created.
This is cash only places are places for they don't give a fuck
Hookers.
about like their business.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm not going to franchise this out. I'm not going to do whatever. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, I just want to take home $25.
Sure.
Because I want to buy Taco Bell on the way home.
But then I mean, like, yeah, okay, I guess. I don't know.
I think sometimes
Doesn't it limit your customer base though? Because like, there's a lot of places I go to and they're like cash only. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well, I'll
but
go down the
that's
street.
the thing. They're not trying to expand their customer
They don't
base.
care.
They have 15 dudes that come in during the course of the week, and they've determined that that's enough to pay for their rent
Yeah, they don't
for
care.
them to go and hang out and eat pizza.
Yep.
So like, I'm okay with that. There are some other places. Like I went to a place in New Orleans once that was a cash only, really expensive Italian restaurant, and I was like, what the fuck is
Weird.
your problem?
Yeah.
Like, if it's cash only, but the maximum amount you can probably spend in one place is $20, fine, I get it. But if they're going to charge you $25 just for the pasta
Right, yeah.
appetizer, fuck off. You better take a credit card.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Take that, Italian restaurant.
Yeah, take it out of them.
This bowl of dude soup is brought to you by Blue Apron and Audible. You can check out this week's menu and get 2 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/soup. And you can go to audible.com/dudesoup today to start your free 30-day trial. We'll get a longer sales pitch about them later. All right, so I guess we can talk about VidCon. The title of the podcast, VidCon Sucks, or something like that?
Well, I mean,
It
we were
doesn't
barely,
suck.
we were
It's just
barely
not for
there.
us, man.
Yeah, it doesn't suck. And it's totally not for us, and that's something that took me a while to wrap my head around. I had no idea what the yeah, that was.
I hit it. There is some major lag on this
Sorry,
game.
Adam's getting shit rocked at Mighty Number 9
Well,
right
so
now.
well, I mean, we haven't played it. This is my first time doing it, and it's
Yeah.
like Mega Man. Typically, you play Mega Man, the Mega Man X or whatever. You jump on the wall and jump over the guy.
Yeah. It's
one
This
to
game,
one.
they
Yeah.
said
Jump on the wall, jump, and then air dash over.
And so and there is a bit of like
Yeah.
wall jumping in this game. So in my mind, I ran to the left for audio listeners right now. There's a wall to the left. I ran to it, and he just goes, "No, No, and they're like, air dash over him, except the amount of room you have to jump over Robo Digger is about 2 inches.
What'd you just call me?
Air dash. You
I'm trying, man.
got air dash more.
Right, but oh man, this game.
Well, it's also
rough.
weird because
Four
it
out of
appears as though you damage them to a point where they turn a color, then you dash
Right.
them.
Yeah, you dash through them.
I see. I hit it right
and
there.
then you get a, well, you have, so
well, and then
get it.
here's the other thing. This is how poorly.
gotta time
I
it
mean,
out.
and I could be wrong because I'm not a.
wait till he's coming at you,
We'll talk about
then
that.
dash at him.
Okay,
Now
so-
dash
Now
at
jump
him.
over dash.
No, too early.
Oh.
He got through. He got through fine.
That's how bad this is.
He's
Adam
trying
loves
to
this game.
time his dash.
Mighty Number 9 is fantastic.
What were we talking
Anyway.
about? VidCon?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about VidCon. So it took, oh, you got an achievement, bro! I didn't know this about VidCon. This is my first VidCon. I didn't know that it was trying to be so clean and like friendly and
For kids,
bright-eyed.
man.
Yeah, it's for little kids.
It is.
For those who don't know, what is VidCon?
Oh, I still don't know what VidCon is.
Okay, I mean it's video conference, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Video
all-
video
things-
convention, I guess.
that's
Video
the thing.
All
convention,
things
yeah.
video.
It was, as far as I know, founded by the Greens, the Vlog Bros, for fellow vlog growers, so they can all vlog and somehow make a living being an influencer.
Who?
Not the Greens specifically. It's just that seems to be what the entire
Greens
convention
fan.
is about. It's about having a ring light in front of your face at all times,
Yep.
having awesome floppy hair that may be a strange color,
Okay.
wearing some kind of hat that is not chronologically appropriate,
Okay.
wearing a tank top maybe also wearing overalls, and then just talking about your life and how excited you are to share everything with everyone around you.
My favorite is when like all the like super.
Dash into his ass. Sorry,
No.
please just dash into him. You'll kill
No,
him.
because then I'll get stuck behind him.
You got
He
his
was
life
dead,
back.
though.
You got to dash into him to kill
Yeah,
him.
you
This
you
will
have to
do
dash
it.
into him
you
to
create
kill him?
potential damage and then you dash to execute said
The audio
damage.
listeners
So
are
now
like,
you need
watch.
to
Dash into
damage.
him. There, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
This is really bad. Here,
I
enjoy.
would never have
How are you
guessed that. I would never have guessed that.
you guys got to play more fighting games.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anyway, sorry, I distracted.
No, I mean control. You'll see. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah, the lag's
No, my
pretty bad.
favorite is when there's like 12 of these like kids that all look the same with the hair flop to the side, and they're all yelling over each other, and like, "Hey, blah, blah," and they're all fighting in the background, and they're like in a hotel room for some reason. You're like, what are you doing in there? Why I'm watching these videos, I don't
I was
know.
gonna say, guys, they are way more popular than us. They get way more views than us.
100%.
They're way richer than we are.
You're not
Yeah.
talking about the attendees. You're talking about like the
No,
people
I'm
that
talking
made
about
all
Well, no,
the
those
little,
are-
the
that-
little
those are the-
12-year-old scream.
The beauty of VidCon was okay. So we're going to RTX next week, and it's gonna be a madhouse because I mean, not trying to like
Because the
toot our own
Rooster Teeth
horn.
community is the best community.
I guess
Well, I
not
agree
too,
with
no,
that.
no.
But we're gonna go there, and what we're expecting is every street corner turn around, someone's go, "Hey, I know you. Can I get a photo?" Which is
Right.
totally fine. It's like
Totally
that's
fine.
what you're coming for. You like we're down for that. VidCon was great because we're like we just look like old people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
we were
great.
old people.
Yeah.
I was gonna
and
say we didn't look like
There'd
old
be a
people.
young girl who would come up to us and be like, "Oh my God, my brother is the biggest fan.
Yeah,
Please
that
sign this
happened
thing."
a lot. That happened a lot.
And then we're like, "Do you want to get a photo?" She goes, "Nah."
Nah, we're good.
We're like, "Cool, okay."
I like when people say, no, I'm
Yeah.
all right.
That was fun.
We did meet several actual fans though that were there.
Oh, of course, yeah. There were a few dedicated fans that were a little younger. They kind of like, because we skew on the older side. If people don't know in the audience, usually we're like 18 to 34. About 80% of our audience is 18 to 34. And then the rest are either 13 to 17, I think it is, or older than that.
65,
So,
yeah.
or 75 years old.
Prime age.
Get those
They voted for
pensioners.
Brexit. So it's one of those things where like if we see the random child that's 13 to 17 and they come up, they're like, I love Funhaus, I start to feel bad. Because I'm like, oh boy, like we see a lot of really
Yeah.
bad stuff. Like I hope you know that's all jokes. It's all
yeah,
jokes,
Lawrence
kid.
got called out.
What?
Oh yeah,
got
Oh,
called
during
out
the
for being
so
a dirty
so
mouth.
the two things we
Bad
had to
boy.
do during.
That's
I made a mom very upset.
That's right.
Well, we
I
had
get
two
it.
obligations during VidCon. The first one was James and I were on a panel for what was
Building
it?
a gaming community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
community, yeah.
we were on there with Max, Gassy Mexican, for those. Who don't know. Yeah, but and
Just happy to
then
know it's successful. You
a couple other folks were on there. Fantastic moderator.
Kitty plays Gassy Mexican, and then what was Expert Thief?
That's the
was
one
also-
expert. Yeah. And so it was kind of. He was actually.
I liked Expert Thief a lot.
He
a
was
lot of
he was
insightful
very
commentary.
he was actually very insightful when it came to communities and everything. And like it was funny that we all kind of agreed on the same thing. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to talk about like how to grow a community when James and I were mostly like, just let them do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just make the content.
Well, it even started with like when you're moderating your comments.
Yeah.
What do you? And we were like, don't,
Don't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
don't
Bad
let,
idea.
let your comments be your comments.
yeah, don't police yo. But anyway, and then we had another one where we had to do a gameplay for 45 minutes Mario Kart on stage, which is what we are known for.
Yeah.
So
Top Mario Kart gameplays.
yeah, I mean, I don't think we even knew what we were
Give the
doing.
audience a little taste.
We thought we were playing Rocket League at
Yeah,
one
we
point.
didn't until we arrived.
I had to tell the stage manager how to start the game.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
forgot that.
Lawrence was smug.
I wasn't smug. That dude was smug.
He was very smart.
We were like sitting there hitting the buttons, and the dude was like, couch full of gaming pros that don't know how to work a game.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, dude, we need the gamepad. He's like, you telling me you need the game? And I'm like, yeah, we need the gamepad. Bring it out, asshole.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's happening.
Well, to be fair, it was his fault, Nintendo's fault, and his fault. So,
Yeah. The Wii U.
Well, and then my favorite
God
part
bless
about that,
Nintendo,
Lawrence turned his cone of smug on that guy.
Yeah, instead of
and
the
I was really
audience.
happy that I wasn't in front of the cone of smug
Ah.
because I'd rather be behind it on Lawrence's
I'm
team.
learning how to direct it.
It was really great.
No, you called him out rightly so.
Young
It was you did call him out.
But
right.
then it was funny because I
don't want to be too mean.
I guess
He was just doing his job.
I was pretty much aware that we were right next to Disneyland and that everyone there was a God-fearing Christian.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we should probably keep the.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, I was like, we should probably keep the profanities to a minimum, even though that's kind of what
Oh,
we're known
come
for.
on.
I think you're
My
much more
counter to
situationally
that
aware
is
than me.
you're
I-
going to bring your kid to a convention about being the biggest egotistical fucking narcissist in the world, and you're worried about someone cussing?
Well, see, that's
Fuck off.
So that's the thing. Thank you, James, for saying that in that way. That's the thing that really unsettled me about VidCon. It was thoroughly uncomfortable for me to be there because of that.
Oh, I didn't care.
There's this tone that it's all family friendly and it's all clean and innocent. And look, it's just everybody sharing and collaborating and making the world a better place. Except every lazy-eyed, dopey-ass 16-year-old that can barely work his own hotel key to get into his room is having sex with every 14-year-old girl there and like doing crazy amounts of drugs.
crazy allegations.
And probably gonna burn out.
Confirmed.
Lawrence's exaggerated point is the fact that like that kind of stuff actually does happen.
Yeah.
And like when he brought it up, I was like, "Holy shit, he's right!"
And
like,
that entire building,
there's-
we were the least likely to molest every young girl there.
right because
And
we
yet
actually,
we were the
like,
ones
girlfriends
upsetting
and
parents and
wives
stuff.
and- well, no, I
This
mean,
shit happens, man. You
it-
read that story about, I meant to look this up. Yeah, there was that Minecraft Let's Player who was like fucking sexting all these 14-year-old girls.
Well,
and the
and-
parents had no idea.
And not
like,
to
oh, she's
mention-
just watching Minecraft? That's good.
I mean, like, and there's a lot of other stuff that we know in the YouTube community that has been happening recently like that, which is really scary, in my opinion. And maybe that's one of the reasons why YouTube is trying to go so family friendly with VidCon, is that like they'd rather just be like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
like,
YouTube's not putting on VidCon,
No,
right?
but they are like major partners in VidCon.
Sure, yeah.
And
yeah.
they're all
I think
over every banner.
From my understanding, YouTube's like,
No.
that's cool you do this, but
Yeah, well, no, they're partners. They're like they help out VidCon, and that was the thing that like, which is fine. I have no problem with that. And actually, I was just about to, as a counter to all of your guys' talk about how like
Hate speech.
you're not allowed to curse and you're not allowed to do this other stuff. We had our YouTube guy there, John, and John didn't give a shit.
That's
Like,
true, yeah.
John was super cool about everything, and he understands who we are and what YouTube is.
Yeah.
And so he was totally fine with it. I think everybody that because we also did a Make-A-Wish thing with Google.
Yeah.
And like
that was fun.
we get to hang out with a kid who wanted to become a YouTuber as Ride the gaming guy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
And it was great. I had a lot of fun. And Google and YouTube were there, and we were pretty candid with him, and I think we probably cursed a few times in front of his parents and stuff, and it was okay. So I think as a counter to the fact that it was all family friendly, I think YouTube understands.
Well,
what
the
YouTube
show
is.
floor itself, like you walk in and it smells like My Little Pony. Like
Well,
it's just.
The
There's little
first thing
kids
we
there.
saw was
Sweet
the
Tarts.
Sweet Tarts truck.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Sweet Tarts stuff. Yeah,
But I mean, that's the stuff that people want. Like
younger people.
Younger. Well,
Yeah.
It's not what they want. It's
advertisers.
It's what they want to believe. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely right
It's
about that.
it's
They want the brand safe.
brand
Taco
safe.
Bell was there. Like
Right.
a lot of big brands were there, which I think is important.
Yeah.
You won't. I don't know. It's just like it couldn't be more different than RTX. Essentially,
No.
to me, RTX is authentic on top of authentic, and that's what I like about it.
Sure.
There's
Well,
no level of
I guess
pretense there.
this kind of goes back to the 4 or 5 people in my life who have said we've gone corporate,
Oh.
and then I project that as
Boy, you
being.
have no fucking idea.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. I was like, if we really wanted to go corporate, and once again, this is like 2 people who said this, and I'm just like losing sleep over this. Like, who the fuck do they think they are?
Blink it to the
yeah,
chin.
exactly.
I
But I'm like,
bloodshot eyes staring at
but
the ceiling.
we would be playing mobile games. We would.
I've done that.
We would be much younger. None of us would have facial hair. We'd be really buttoned up. We'd all be like Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-suicide.
Hold on, is Napoleon listening?
Yeah.
Who loves that guy?
But we'd all just be like everyone's best friend. Like, hey buddies, how are you? Like, you're my little best friend.
Hey,
wow.
all you funhausers out there.
Yeah, my little.
You guys ready to have a great
my
day?
little fun hoosers.
No, life
yeah,
sucks. We
Yeah,
never lie to you about
yeah,
that.
and we're just like old and disheveled. And like, my foot hurts. Fuck you.
Yeah. There's pus coming out of my foot.
Yeah, and then like Pepsi sees that and they're like, no,
Yeah, we're not going to sell that.
we want friendly man. Bring back Funhooser.
Yeah.
So if we did want to go corporate, yes, we would go that way. Thankfully, we are allowed to be ourselves and just do whatever we want. And we have fine sponsors, like on this show, who are like, yeah, it's cool. Do what you want to do. We'll sponsor it.
I feel like now it's appropriate for one to thank any sponsor that would sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
And for two, to also celebrate the noble efforts of everyone at Rooster Teeth for arranging those sponsors for us. Because I can only imagine it is having worked at companies that refuse to message anything. It is a fine thing to have sales be on your side and say like, this is the content, this is what you're buying into, and we're not going to change it because it works because of these things.
Right.
So you just kind of have to get used to that.
Well, it's funny because so Jess is dealing with this right now. She's doing her collective with her group, the Cosmic Confetti thing, and right now it skews young because Cupquake Tiffany's like the head of it.
Gotcha.
And Jess is always like, I want older. Like she's like, I want your audience. I want like people my age. And I'm like, good luck.
Yeah,
you're doing.
got all the young girls.
Well, I was
because
saying you're
she's super brand safe.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Well, it's like you're doing like makeup tutorials and stuff and she's like, I'll get a comment from someone who's like my age and they're like, hey, cool stuff. She's like, I like those. But every once in a while there's like a 4-year-old who's like, give me Tiffany's email. And it's just like, okay, weird. And I'm always thankful that we don't have to deal with that most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Achievement Hunter has to deal with that because of all the Minecraft gameplays they do. So you get all the fun children. We should go to Minecon sometime. But like in costume. So we don't have to like.
We should go to Minecon.
Yeah.
I'd love
I've
to
heard
go.
nothing but bad things.
Yeah, no, same with me.
Aw.
That's why I want to do
What?
it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's terrible. I just never been.
There's like a little girl wanting to download more RAM. It's fantastic.
I want to download more RAM.
Download more WAM.
Yeah, remember the kid that asked the question, I want to download more Wham.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, God bless the internet.
That's basically what I thought VidCon was, is that kid that asked to download more Wham. and that's why I loved so much doing the Mario Kart gameplay that you guys hated so much.
I love Mario Kart.
Is that I love making fun of kids.
Yeah, I love screaming. I bellowed as loud as I could at the back of somebody's head more than once.
It was mostly
It was a treasured memory.
It's funny. It's mostly Elise being like, shit.
Elise was actually playing seriously. She wanted to win, which is fine.
Lisa's a Mario Kart demon.
Yeah, she wanted to win.
Hold on.
move on.
You lost your combo, dude.
How am I supposed to do this without getting hit?
Be good.
I don't think that's I think it's pretty much impossible.
James right now is on a moving train
So
with
I've
two
noticed-
sides and
yeah,
a lot
there's
of killing, death,
spinning
in the
balls.
Spinning
all in the
spike
middle.
wheels
It's
that
like-
you can't get into.
But you know
just-
that
Can you
have to-
shoot down at an angle?
Yeah, I was gonna say you could shoot
you
down
can
at an
shoot
angle,
up, right?
and if they're
Fuck
green,
you.
you charge
Yeah,
at
it's
them.
Mega Man.
You know, like that's I don't know.
So I've noticed.
Why
when-
can't you just continue on?
You got to kill him.
This game.
So it's when you're boosting through things, you pick up power-ups. I'm sure you've noticed those little icons above your head. Some of them allow your bullets to pierce, and I think the idea is that if you had maintained your combo through the last couple of waves, you would have had that piercing power-up.
Sorry, the
and then
answer
you
was
could-
fuck you. That's
No, but this
Man.
is what people were talking about.
Well,
like,
you were talking about this last week.
is
You were
like
saying,
this-
will Mighty Number 9 be remembered as this like the pro gamers like wet dream of just like,
Well,
man, you got to be so good at this game for it to work.
It
It's
seems
designed for a
it
perfect
will be
run.
remembered as if someone somehow managed to make like a Mega Man mimicry. This is my review after 2 minutes of playing it. A mimic Mega Man, but like in Little Big Planet or something.
Oh yeah.
okay.
And it's
oh,
like-
I see. Like with some other dev tools that weren't designed
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
a Mega Man game.
This is like the Trials version of Mega Man.
Yeah. Oh, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
This does not look fun.
So it's like
That should
slower.
be on the box.
It's like
Mighty Number 9,
slower.
this does not look fun.
So actually, I've been watching and I get it. The level is designed that there are like, because like before when you were on the top of the truck, there were enemies that were running into the front of the truck, and if you knew they were coming, you could stand at the front of the truck, shoot them, boost them, and jump back and up your score. It's like it's a combo score-based game, and I can see why nobody would like that because nobody likes those games.
So now that we've reviewed Mighty Number 9, what would you review VidCon?
VidCon?
Give it a score.
I was fine because it was pretty relaxed. We get to do some cool stuff like the Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
It's a solid
A
number.
7 out of 10.
solid number.
That's what I'm going to give it.
7 out of 10.
Well, boy, I had a number of negative experiences, none of which I can thoroughly attribute to VidCon.
It was just that mom.
No, it wasn't. There were some more.
Oh, you
Registration
dropped a
wasn't so
jar.
high.
Dropped a jar of
What was
butter.
that?
I didn't drop a jar. Good
Can
job.
you
He just put it down.
Well,
I just
so it's
put it on
I
funny.
want you to explain that.
The
because
picture is on Twitter, or
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
on the subreddit.
I got a picture of it. It's coming up in the post show, by the way. So you'll get visual,
Okay.
a visual compliment provided you're watching the
Okay.
stream, or our sponsor. You can go check it out on the Rooster Teeth site
First.
But damn it, firsters.
Your firsters.
Was it Z?
Fister.
Seven Zs.
Get firsted.
But,
Stay tuned after the podcast to get fisted.
all right, let me
Firsted.
let me run down my laments for you, Adam, since you
Yeah.
asked.
I would love to know.
Okay, so it started, got to the con, had about 25, 30 minutes to get my badge and get to my first panel that I was speaking on, which was lovely, by the way.
Hey, you're on there with Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie's cool. Ashley Esqueda, I hope I said that name right. Great moderator. Actually had some really good points too. I need to follow more of her speaking.
That was Justine's sister, right?
Yeah,
Is it?
just leave it on the pause.
I thought
menu.
so.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But regardless, so I got to the con, had about 25 minutes, and I'm stomping on in there, going to where the email told me to go to pick up my badge. And then a security dude was like, "Hey, you don't have your badge yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get it." And he's
that
like, "Oh
part
no,
was
you don't go
fun.
this way." He's like, "You got to go around," because there was. So essentially, going into the center, they carved out the entire middle strip for like a stage for 5-year-olds to sing on, which at best had maybe 4 people standing in front of it at any time. There was the like food truck row. So essentially, they made this area you had to be registered to get into, right down the middle of the main drag going into the convention center. So I was walking down the wrong side of that drag, and one of the wrong. It ended up being the right one, but one of the security guys was like, "Hey, I'm just letting you know, you can keep walking that way, but it's a dead end unless you have a badge. You have to go all the way around and back the other side to go register." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I guess he knows.
To
what he's
register
talking
where
about.
we registered, right?
Yeah.
Same.
Tried
There's
to.
only the one place.
By Hall
No,
to.
there is not the one place. That's
Oh,
the problem.
snap. Okay.
So I went around and then kept following the signs for registration, which took me all the way around the back side of the convention center, which was a bit of a walk. I don't care. It's just more of a time issue at this point. So I'm walking in there. I have like 15 minutes left. I'm like, okay, this might be a little tight, but I think I can handle it. Went to what I thought was the right booth. The lady there had just left, so I was like sitting there, like looking around, like trying to wave people down. I don't want to be an asshole, but I'm like, I have a panel coming up. I really want to get there on time.
Do you know who I am?
I didn't want to do that, but essentially, and then I was like, okay, are you registered? How are you registered? And he's like, I don't know. They didn't really tell me like exactly what kind of registration I have. They just told me where to go, but that wasn't here. And then the lady was like, okay, let me look you up. You're not here. And I was like, yeah, but I have a driver's license with my name on it, and my name's on the panel. Is there any chance you can just like see those two things, make a connection, and just give me a badge? And she was like, no, okay. So she was like, well, there's one other place you can try. And I was like, that's not good. Panel starts in 10 minutes. And she's like, oh, it's on the 4th floor of this hotel that, by the way, is all the way back from where you came. It's like, ugh. And that was it. So I was like, okay, good. I guess I'll just walk back over there.
Confusing. So when we got there,
Yeah, I have a couple follow-up
well,
questions.
I was the first one there.
Oh, it's not done yet, but yeah.
I took a train down, so I got there before anyone else,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lovely ride from LA to Anaheim. And I got there.
Smuggled a pastry.
I did smuggle a pastry, and they did give me kind of a weird look because I was wearing sandals because of my bum toe, which I had a maxi pad, a panty liner.
Feminine napkin.
Yeah, wrapped around my toe because I couldn't find any gauze.
Fapkin.
Fapkin, yeah, that's a good one.
Rooster Teeth Fapkins.
And so I had the same exact issue. Went to registration. I'm like, I don't know where to go. And they're like, follow these signs. I'm like, okay, the sign for registration. So I went to press speakers and guests.
That's where I went.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, so we have a panel at 9:30. Can we do this? The guy's like, not in the system. You need to go talk to that guy. He's the one with the laptop. He has all the names.
He's got
So
a
I go, okay, cool. And I'm like, I don't have. Oh, the only thing I have is an email with our itinerary on it. That's it. And he goes, okay, I found you. You're under like future creator of the future or something.
Featured creator.
Feature creator, yeah, some millennial BS name. And I'm like, cool, okay, neat. Whatever, doesn't really matter. You guys got like all access passes.
Bruce and I were all access.
Who knows
Yeah.
why?
Because they did
Elise
you a
was
solid.
a featured creator. Lawrence was a featured creator, but Lawrence is the only one who had his name.
I
That, so
picked
that's,
mine-
Yeah,
I
our
technically
badges
didn't
didn't have our
the right
names
way.
on it.
all of the rest of us were just listed as Funhaus, like
Yeah.
that we were
Yeah.
the man known as Funhaus.
Yeah, Mr. Funhouse.
I was the only one listed under my
Lawrence
own
is the
name.
only one who had a name and had the hardest time getting like someone to believe that he was supposed to be there. It was like his name, and I don't think you had a picture, but like you were the only person who had your name actually on
But
the
either
schedule.
either way, no one told us to go to a hotel or do anything weird like that because then we're backstage and we're like, where is Lawrence? His panel's starting right now. And this guy comes up to me and goes, he probably went to the hotel to register. We're like,
I was supposed to.
Hotel.
we're like, we registered over there.
yeah.
We can see where we registered. Why would he go to a hotel? And the guy's like, and he walks away.
Got
We're like,
me.
He had bigger fish to fry, though. He was managing the whole,
Yeah,
the whole
he was-
stage or event. Well, my
way.
question is, and I think I know the answer. We were like, well, if Lawrence gets in trouble, he'll probably just call. That was our because we were like, well, we're clearly all in. We've indicated to him that we're all in. So if he can't get in, he'll call and be like, what's the deal,
Lawrence
guys?
and I were texting pretty much
Yeah,
the
yeah.
entire time.
But then it was just like a radio silence for a little while.
Because I was just walking around and talking to people.
But that's why I didn't understand why you wouldn't have been like, oh, these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I should talk to someone who has already gotten in to follow their trail to get in.
Yeah, Bruce told me where to go.
The guy wasn't there.
That guy wasn't there anymore. So Bruce was like, you have to go under this booth, talk to a guy with a laptop. And there was no guy with a laptop. And like it was just not there. And everyone there was kind of stonewalling me at that point. So I was like, well, fuck it. These guys are clearly just not going to like do me any favors because they have marching orders or something. So yeah, I had to follow what they did. I went to the hotel, and then once I had to tell 3 different like hotel security guards where I was going and why, and each one of them gave me that got my eye on you guy.
Yeah, you're just
go
here to
on.
meet some sort of 13-year-old Vine star.
Something like that. So
You fit the profile.
I get through all of the hotel guards that all side-eye me, and then I'm standing in line, and finally there's a guy with a laptop, and I'm like, oh, it's him. I don't know if it's exactly the same
Laptopy.
guy,
The
but
chosen one.
yeah. And before I can even stand in that line, another dude is like, I'm sorry, why are you here? And it's like, I want to pick up my badge. And he's like, oh, you need to go somewhere else. It's like, they told me to come here. So after convincing him that I need to be in that line, he steps out of the way. I take a step forward and get in the line. And then I wait there. And then the guy with the laptop's like, oh, yeah, you're a feature creator. You got to go up 4 floors. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's weird.
So, or wait, first of all, there was another registration room to the side that had each individual partner there, and they all had their own like little like nameplates and laptops waiting for people to come up and register. So I took one look in that room, and my eyes went kind of blank. Went up 4 floors, went to a room, finally got my badge. Lady who was very kind was like, "Oh, you have a goodie bag too," and I was like, "I don't want it."
You got a goodie bag?
I guess
get a
they had
goodie
goodie
bag.
bags
We
for
didn't get a
everybody.
good bag,
You
huh?
can get
And
shit.
whatever.
He
it's-
squandered it.
It's just a fucking logo tee and like a lot of promo codes for things we'll never use. So yeah, after I finally got my badge, I was already 15 minutes late, and I had to like bust ass to my to my panel, and then flopped out on stage.
Lawrence Con.
Said like 3 things.
I'd go to
Yeah,
that.
it was a good panel.
We did
But
this pretty funny thing though while you.
Why do they have why do they have 3 different registrations that are separated by the entire convention?
I have a counter for all this. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say when we were like, where is Lawrence? What's going on? Like we knew that it started without you.
Yeah.
But then we were like,
As it should have. I mean.
we were like, well, we're just gonna go backstage. Like we're just gonna wait back there.
It's Snickers.
Just in case you show up or whatever.
Fun Snickers.
And then Adam went to the bathroom, and he came back and he was like, we were like, did you see Lawrence? He's like, no,
Oh yeah.
Lawrence isn't
I
there.
forgot about this.
He's not there. And we're like, he's not there yet? No. And then we're like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, he's not there. So then I went out there, and then I came back and I was like, yeah, Lawrence isn't there. And Bruce is like, are you shitting me? Like, where is he? And then so Bruce is like, I'm gonna go out and look. And then Bruce went out and looked, and he's like, he's not there. Like, he's not there. And Elise went out and was like, no one believed the other person, except that we were all basically trying to trick each other.
Yeah,
Well, no, you got the
literally-
story wrong.
Well, so
because
we-
I went to the bathroom and I saw Lawrence on stage.
Uh-huh.
And I went, and I
he
went,
started
"Ah!"
and said,
and I was like,
"Oh,
I'm like,
Lawrence on stage."
Lawrence is on
Oh,
stage,
oh, yeah.
and you're all backstage going, no, he's
way.
not.
No, we
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
heard
And then-
him. No
yeah,
way.
yeah, and then one person would get up at a
Right.
time.
And then I went up, and then I came back, and I was like, he's not up there.
Yeah.
And then,
Did
but
you
then Adam was like,
legitimately
what
not
the
see him,
hell?
I
though?
was gonna say, did you legitimately see him or not see him?
No, I saw him.
You did?
Okay, I thought you
I
were
saw him, but I know I hadn't seen him speak or anything.
And
Like,
so he
but-
came back and like tried to prank us. I came back and then tried to prank them. And
Classic Vid-Con.
basically, we were trying to prank Elise. Is what happened because Elise
yeah.
was the
Thing
last
gives you red
person.
power.
Except we were all
There.
quadruple
Now you can shoot
pranking
through
each
enemies.
other.
Yeah, we were like that.
And so we all ended up being pranked at the end because we didn't know who
Yeah.
started the prank.
Yeah, it was a really good. It was actually a really good prank on all of us. Turns out Lawrence was there pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, I was only about 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
And
At one point, Greg Miller texted me and he's like, "Where's Lawrence? Or give me Lawrence's phone number."
Yeah. I know.
I'm like, not happening.
so yeah, I wasn't overly fond of the registration process.
Well, so the counter to all of this is that it's because of the shooting. That's the reason security is so tight.
oh no, I get it. I get it.
That's and like because it's
I don't
one of
have
those
a problem
things
with
that-
security.
Well, like so,
Lawrence
at
looks
RTX
like he would
at
take
RTX
someone out.
Well, at RTX is gonna be the same way.
Yeah.
Like it's good. Like security is gonna be extra tight.
The thing is, the process is dumb, though. there's people who only have part of the information who are
Well, yes, of
actively,
course.
because that's what happened even when we arrived.
Yeah.
And Adam had already had to go through kind of a rigmarole to get his badge, right? And then we arrived, and Adam said specifically, come to this guy.
I was waving you down.
Come to this guy, right? And you're like,
We're like, nah, we
okay.
got it, yeah.
But then we're going over to Adam, and then someone goes, you two, come here. You come to us.
Yeah.
Like they reached over the counter and were like, you two, you come to us. You need to be here. And we're
Okay.
like, oh, okay. And then so we went up there, and then they're like, we can't help you. And then Adam was like, they won't be able to help you.
Yeah.
You need to go to this guy.
Learn
And-
from
but
my
it's like-
mistakes, my children.
They had an iPad that I guess had
Nothing on it.
6-month-old information.
You said it didn't even do anything. It was just like,
It's just blank.
yeah,
They were just playing Candy Crush.
yeah. Well, it was a picture. of
But
Candy Crush.
that doesn't change the fact that the staff there was very much
to the
like
front of the iPad.
the staff there was very much like, we can help you. We are the ones. We're the ones who are the useful
Yeah.
ones. And then so they drag you away from someone else who like they pull you away. It's that scene in a movie when someone is like they're about to meet.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then at the last minute,
Fate
someone goes like,
steps in.
yoo-hoo!
Yeah.
And he turns around and he doesn't see her.
No.
That's what.
Because
That's
I
what
was standing to
Vid-Con.
the side going, no, come over
Come
here.
over
here.
I know, they're gonna trick you.
I can't really
She
give
can't
it a
help.
review though because we only saw one hall. There are several other halls,
That's
and we
right,
were
yeah.
only in the gaming hall.
We're in the Sweet Tarts Hall.
Thank you to all the fans that came out though.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
our dumb selves.
Did you rebind
Oh, I
dash?
changed it to B. Yeah.
Oh.
Because right bumper makes no fucking sense from dash
I
on
was
the
using
game.
right
I'm
bumper.
alright with that.
Don't-
I'm alright with that.
Try it.
I was using right bumpers,
Hey,
so that way
Omar,
you can shoot.
Can you turn on the
Yeah.
air conditioning?
So you can jump and
Please?
shoot at the same time. What are you doing, man?
Please turn on the air conditioning.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
man.
You can bind it to 2 things? No, you
I
can't.
appreciate it.
I changed it because I was using the same control scheme as basically Halo 5, which is B is like dash for the default, and it's like I'm just used to that, just like because like right bumper is like it's an
You
awkward
can
place.
hit it while you're jumping and shooting at the same time. You
No,
can't hit all
I'm
3
with
of those.
Adam on
God!
that one. I was like-
All right, pro.
You can change it back to shift or
Sure.
whatever. Who cares?
So I'm glad we went to VidCon. I'm really glad
Yeah, me too.
because now I'm really excited for RTX.
Well, and also we got to do. I mean, we got to do the Make-A-Wish thing.
The Make-A-Wish thing was
The
great.
Make-A-Wish thing was
That
awesome.
yeah, I don't really go to apply all. I don't really attribute that to VidCon as much because I was like that was off-site.
It wouldn't
anyway.
have happened if we weren't at VidCon.
I guess
Like,
I don't know. That was just a cool thing to do.
it was
was
really
fun.
cool, and that was all like Google pitched it to us, and I was like, of course.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
of course.
I'm glad that we got to do that.
Send us
there.
more jackets.
We were we met with an 11-year-old kid who wants to work on his YouTube channel,
Yeah.
basically, and grow his YouTube channel. And he and his brother, man, it's weird when you meet like child geniuses or like you're like oh,
Well,
you're
his
way
bro-
smarter than me.
Well, his
Like,
brother was like 5 or something, right? His little brother Sean.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had actually. It was funny because it was like they had good chemistry. It was like his brother was like kind of the razzer, but
Yeah.
like he's obviously the kid's so young he doesn't really know that he's on camera, so he's just being silly. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like,
just being
you-
a kid.
like he
Um,
is gonna
But
do
I
good
also like
stuff.
watching Lawrence interact with children too.
It's a weird
Because, like
sentence.
it's Lawrence treats everyone like a smart, respectable person.
Right.
You know, like even though this kid's probably never had a boner yet in his life, like, but like so. But
Probably
Lawrence
just
is like,
starting out.
when you're faced with a decision in life, ultimately you're gonna have to make a choice, and sometimes that choice means leaving behind those that you love. Like he's very like just. It's all good information, but it's not. Whereas I'm like trying to be like, well, you know, your mom says.
James was talking
Yeah.
to him
Like-
like a kid. Lawrence was talking to him like an adult.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, Lawrence, you're gonna have some really smart kids.
But
I was
he
gonna say,
will have
that's
smart
how
kids.
I wanted to be talked
It's
to when
funny
I was
though
a kid.
because
Exactly,
he
yeah,
talks,
same with me.
but Lawrence also talks to like Benson the same way. Like
That-
if there's a dog in the office,
matters
he's
even
like,
less.
he's like, you are hungry, aren't you, dog? Well, then you should eat food, so that way you are no longer hungry,
Share
dog.
me your secrets, animal.
Yeah,
Communicate to me.
That's why I like Jeff's kid Millie so much.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
you talk to her, she's like an adult.
Yeah.
Like I sit there and she'll just
Well,
she's like kind of no
That's
bullshit.
the secret. You can talk to most kids like they're adults.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you can.
Well, I like that she talks back to you like one.
Yeah.
Because there are some kids, not to name names.
Dumbass, idiot kids.
Well, I've been to like family events where like there's that one like kid that the parents talk to them or
Yeah.
let them baby them.
Yeah.
And so like you're like, how old are you? Like, I'm 13. And you're like, you either need to be hit more
got left
or
behind.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking because I got hit a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
I got a belt. That was always fun.
Oh, yeah, I got
Oh,
that too.
come
Yeah.
on, Adam. All right, move past it. All right, you got a fucking sweet
I know.
job. You're playing video games.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Get over it.
We all
I
transcend
appreciate
it.
everything that I got.
Piece of shit.
This game is not fun, man.
I like it actually, but I can understand why it's not fun for most of the human race.
Yeah.
I get it. I get what they're going for.
Yeah. Mighty Number, go fuck yourself. Yeah. It's
all
a
right,
it's
I'm
a
gonna throw this
slippery
at you.
game. Oh yeah.
Speaking
Mighty
of
number
slippery.
2.
Yeah, slippery.
Bring back Mighty Number 2.
Well, you can get many fine slippery meals. No, for some reason slippery just made me think of like raw chicken breast. I don't
Okay.
know.
Commit.
Because I'm thinking about food, Blue Apron. That's where I'm going with this. Anyway, you remember that first time? So as a discussion topic to force a segue.
Okay.
Do you remember the first time you touched raw meat?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, it's weird, right?
It's weird.
Shit sticks with you.
Yeah, it's super
And
weird.
it kind of snaps me back there anytime I work with like food. No, just me. The first time you dig your hands into a fucking vat of
I
raw
never touch
chicken
I
breast.
never touch my food.
Never?
Ever. No.
Oh, that's right. You just have
No.
it prepared and then hermetically sealed.
I stare at it and they give it to me.
Well, if you'd like to take control over your diet and the food that you eat, we suggest Blue Apron, or at least I do. I've been using it for about a month now, and fuck, it's awesome. And because I like reading the names of foods, I'm going to do that now. So here are some selections from recipes that are shipped out to Blue Apron members this week. Italian-style cheeseburgers with crispy potatoes.
Ooh.
Crispy fried chicken with creamy slaw and buttermilk biscuits. Cool cavatappi pesto pasta with arugula pesto and fresh mozzarella. You can have all those things and more. Well, pretty much just those things. For less than $10 a meal is essentially what it works out to. Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. If you're looking for, if you're maybe living on your own for the first time, if you're in college or maybe just a recent graduate, it's one of those things that it comes with being an adult and living by yourself that a lot of people don't really talk about or educate you about. If you're lucky, you got like financial education, you know about credit cards. Not a lot of people talk about feeding yourself and being healthy, because most people when they go to college just end up eating a lot of fast food, and especially after graduating, and you get your freshman
You just
15 or
continue
whatever.
those habits.
Yeah, you set some particularly
Bruce.
bad habits, which sucks because when you're in your late teens and early 20s, that's when you should be as attractive as possible. So why are you wasting that on fast food?
It's also when you have the potential to be.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is,
exactly,
yeah.
right? I have to forever chase what could have been now because my body's breaking down and I'm a fat asshole. But if I got on Blue Apron a little earlier, who knows what could have been?
Yeah.
I could have been attractive. But yeah, if you'd like to get your diet in check and learn about cooking in the process, Blue Apron's fantastic in that regard. Please go to blueapron.com/soup to check out this week's menu and get 2 meals free with free shipping. That's blueapron.com/soup. Better way to cook, they say. I would agree, because cooking old school sucks, man. Going to the grocery store, seeing people in general, just other human beings.
Well, the issue I run into is you always end up buying more than what you need.
Of course, yeah.
And then you have leftovers and then you waste food.
Yeah, you
and
got a whole bag of potatoes left. What am I going to do with these fucking potatoes?
Yeah.
Blue Apron, man, they
Send
just
them back in time
They
to
send
an
you
Irish
one
person.
potato. Actually, so because of all the events, one of my Blue Apron potatoes went bad.
Uh-oh.
So I had to go to the grocery store and buy one potato,
Mm-hmm.
which was a whatever.
Really
Just
eating
staring at the
experience.
cashier.
One
See,
potato,
what you do
please.
anytime you need to go to the store and just buy one of something, get condoms as well.
I would, but I'm actually all stocked up on those too.
It doesn't matter if you need them.
Also, was a Sprout.
just
They
saying.
don't sell them there.
They're like, they'll
wasn't a
just
CVS, man.
assume, oh, they're going to do some sort of weird,
Yeah.
cool sex thing that I wish I could do too. They won't think you're strange, that you're just foolishly wasted away your week and
Yeah.
ran out of potatoes.
Especially
they'll
if it's a
think,
phallic-
oh, he's going to fuck that potato.
Some kind of phallic vegetable. Yeah, he's going to stuff that wherever he can.
Ew.
Well,
Was that it?
thoroughly
Long story
distracted you guys.
short,
No, okay, so
I didn't know if you were done with the ad read.
VidCon 7 out of 10. Oh yeah, we're done with that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. So here's one thing. Here's a little life pro tip for you all.
Oh, I love life pro tips.
Whenever you feel bashful, like, because every young man will have that moment where you have to buy condoms. I guess you can buy them online now, so it's not that big of a deal. And you'll buy them, and there's
Buy 'em
always
online?
that. I guess you
Amazon.
could.
how are you
Sure.
going to know if they fit?
What? I
You gotta try 'em
Try them
on
on
in
in the
store.
store, yeah. Well, so there's 2 levels to human behavior, and one of which is like basically you always feel embarrassed about stuff.
Okay.
And But the one thing you have to realize is that people have more empathy than you give them credit for.
Yeah.
So the person giving you the condoms, 9 times out of 10, are more embarrassed to sell you the condoms than you are to buy them.
It's like a bear.
So you just
They're more
gotta
afraid of
just
you
be
than you
so
are of them.
proud of those. Like I was talking about the sexual positions I would be doing with those if that person would open up the cabinet in which I had to like get them out. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go rough. Like, you open that for me, I'm gonna have get me the ribbed ones. And the guy was just like, oh god.
So you basically weaponized his anxiety
Yeah.
against
it's
him.
like
Yeah,
you
well, 'cause-
embarrassed him.
Yeah, well, I go so
That was your
far
de- that was
that
your
I'm no
defensive
longer
mechanism?
embarrassed,
Yeah.
and to the point where I'm being an embarrassing person.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just
So
take
do
the power.
that.
Take the power back.
Well, I'm like, be prideful of that piece of plastic that's going over your dick hole. Like that's
It's latex.
whatever. What do you use?
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what you
skin,
think.
yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheep's intestine.
I make it myself.
See, I'm just allergic
Saran
to
wrap
all
and a rubber
condoms,
band.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it? To be
That's, you
allergic
tell
to
all the girls.
condoms.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to things over my dick.
Sorry, babe.
I'm allergic to you being on birth control.
Yeah. I'm also allergic to
There's
talking.
no reason to say that.
What are you talking
I
about?
love it. I love it. No, that's really funny. I'm allergic to you.
I'm
being
allergic
on
to coming anywhere else but your butt.
the- oh, jeez. Oh, gosh.
I'll
The fluid.
die.
I
You
can't
don't
help
understand.
it. The fluid in your vagina
Yeah.
will kill me.
Yeah. It's your fault.
But only if it goes in my mouth.
Oh.
Everywhere else is fine.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
No, I've had many instances, specifically in LA, where for some reason buying condoms is an invitation to talk about how much sex I'm about to have.
Really?
What?
To the clerk, they're like,
I've
"You gonna
never
use this all
once-
tonight?"
Are you the instigator?
Yeah.
No, God, no. I'm just sitting there with my handle of vodka and a box of condoms,
Oh,
like
that's
any
why.
civilized human
He's
being.
buying a bunch of
I was gonna say
vodka.
that's the thing. It's always the other item you buy.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Boy, that was an instant death, huh? Fun video games. Boy, you
Just let that sit up. Can we just let
Sure.
it say game over for
Let's-
the rest
let's
of the
take a-
podcast, please?
let's take a break.
No
Let's
one's
take a
gonna
break.
miss it. No one's gonna miss it. I promise you.
Oh, I'll play it. I'll play it and I'll be
Nope.
quiet.
No one's gonna miss it.
Let Lawrence play.
God
He wants
damn
to
it.
play.
You guys can vamp about fucking condoms all you want.
Yeah.
So what's the other item? The potato?
What?
He's talking about like the other item
When
that
you buy
with the
condoms,
condoms.
to make them
Yeah.
awkward.
It doesn't matter. It's if you need to go to the store to just get one item,
Yeah,
like
always get
shit, I'm
condoms.
out of gum. Buy
Buy
gum
condoms.
and condoms.
I get
if
Diet
you're
Mountain
if you're
Dew.
walking by a CVS or
The-
something and
the
you're
worst-
like, I could really go for a Snickers.
Predator on DVD.
Don't go in and buy Snickers because that makes you seem really sad and really fat,
But-
right?
Yeah,
that's true.
But go in and buy a Snickers and
absolutely-
And
condoms.
condoms? And that makes
And then
it
they'll be like,
sound cool.
okay, well, this dude's going to a fucking
Well,
party.
There's the one thing I don't understand, and I mean I do on some level. Like you go to a certain CVS or Rite Aid, and it's like in a low income housing area, and like the alcohol will be locked behind stuff, but then so will the condoms and like tampons.
They're like, no, you got to unlock that shit.
That's it's like
Put
that's.
it by the front door so people can steal them.
I was gonna say like, don't you? And then it's odd to go like near like a sex clinic or something like that, where they're like, free condoms inside, please take them.
Do they ever lock up tampons?
Maybe not tampons, like feminine hygiene things.
I would be amazed if they locked up
Because women are
tampons.
thieves.
Well, it's this weird thing where it's like yeast infection control and condoms are like next to each other. They just kind of they just
Yeah.
lump it
Yeah,
all
it's
there.
Anything that
Genitals,
goes on,
the genitals
on or
section.
around your genitals.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
genitals.
Well, that's the thing. Like you'll go to certain places like I live in downtown, and like it's
a great barometer for the whole world.
exactly. Well, I'm saying you can go 2 blocks from each other, one near Skid Row, one just a little bit further, and it'll be all the alcohol's locked behind. There's another one. It's free to take to a homeless person, or at least that's what they're thinking.
To a homeless
It's not free. I'm just saying
I wanna-
it's out in the open. It's annoying going to a store and being like, "Hi, I'd like to buy those condoms, please. They're locked in the back.
Yeah,
I
that-
need help."
that is
Because
kinda-
you hit the
guy, like-
button and they never come.
He takes his. They take his chain of keys or
Yeah.
whatever, and he's like, "Which one is it?"
Not
Dang
the
it!
liquor key, not the
Dang
tampon
it.
key.
Jeez.
I just of all the things to lock behind, like, just you know what, CVS, you can lose the $20
They should
on
put
the box of
here's
condoms.
here's what they should do: put the cheap condoms out, because the cheap condoms
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
Anybody
Like
can
a
use
bowl
the
of candy.
The ones
but
that
then
are
the expensive
pre-punctured.
condoms, like the ones that
Yeah.
are sheep's intestine.
Yeah.
And the ones that are
It's like a luxury car.
The
Yeah.
ones that are like they taste like something. They should lock behind
Why
that.
should they?
yeah,
condoms
they
do
all
not
taste,
taste like anything.
They all taste like
That's
something.
true. That's a good point. They have flavored condoms. They
They
taste
do.
like
or
candy
scented.
and
It's
cake.
like
and-
strawberry. Man. Ugh.
Flavored
fucking-
lube's
what a
weird
sin.
too.
What's
Why
a
would
sin?
just the implication that you would condom up before going to town on somebody orally?
What?
Some people have to do that because they don't want the taste of cum.
Why?
Maybe they're allergic to it.
Well, you
ever
can
think about
still,
that?
hey, you can still give STDs through oral
that's fair.
sexual activity.
That's fair.
Bro.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Try to stop me.
Whatever.
That's when I give the
I'm a
most
good,
STDs.
good Christian man. I don't have to worry about.
No,
these
you're
things.
not. You curse in front of that little girl.
Yeah, that's true.
When was the last time you went to church?
Terrible words. About 10 years, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Curse in front of that little girl.
See that? Combos for days. Anyway, I don't know if this is really going to parlay into conversation. It doesn't have to.
Okay. Sure.
But I read an interesting passage on the internet the other day.
in, the,
Okay.
Bi- in the Bible.
I'd like to share that with you gentlemen.
Okay.
A passage about a good friend of mine, our Lord and Savior Hideki Kamiya.
I was to say Mary
Who's
Jane.
that?
Hideki
He's-
Kamiya.
Who is it? You know who he is. Who is he?
You make Shenmue?
What does he do?
Japanese guy.
Oh.
I know he's Japanese.
He works. Yeah, he works for Platinum Games now. He used to work for
Platinum
Capcom. He worked on Okami, and now he's making Scalebound. He did Bayonetta.
okay.
Wait, no, he didn't do Bayonetta.
Wait, that's the big dragon one that got the headphones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there was
Dragon May
actually
Cry.
there was a lot of discussion about
Dragon
that,
May Cry.
about how everybody thought that character was really douchey, and then he was like, yeah, people thought that about Bayonetta 2, as well, not Bayonetta number 2.
I thought she was douchey or just too sexy.
They just didn't like her.
Yeah.
But because they're like her body shape was kind of strange. She's really tall and lanky, but also very hip. I don't know. He went on and on
game.
about how
It's
like
not
the
real.
it's the internet. But he was going on about how the defects of a character make them much more interesting. And then after Bayonetta came out, people were buying like accessories and all this stuff. And actually with Scalebound, people are already asking about buying the headphones that guy's wearing, and like PDP is already working on branded stuff. It's a really fascinating interview with a guy who's actually very smart and really outspoken a lot. I follow his Twitter; it's fucking hilarious. But he did say something about boss battles, which is something that doesn't really happen in games anymore, or at least Western developers don't really use them. Let's see here. This is a translation. He says, I think in a Japanese game, a boss fight becomes this huge explosion of just crazy. Like you have this roller coaster that you're going up and down of the different things that can happen, and then you hit a loop. You're in a corkscrew. The boss fight always does something to twist you, whereas Western game boss fights are more about not wanting to break game immersion. So they keep that going all the way across, and occasionally they can do something really cool, but it's always got to be in the context of the immersion of the game, and they're not super ready to kind of twist somebody. But when you look at our E3 thing, we kind of try to frame the fact that we're twisting you. So Drew walks up and says, wonderful. And you're like, well, why is he saying wonderful? And then the camera pulls back and you realize there's this thing that's 80 bazillion times bigger than anything you've seen before in the game, and that's the corkscrew, right? Right? But they, meaning
really
Western
long
developers,
Is we speech impediment.
Yeah.
it's almost done. But they, Western
He's
developers,
like running out of characters.
wouldn't want to do that because how does this 80 bazillion times bigger thing get in this cave? Where does this scorpion live?
Oh, I see.
When he runs, is there some place he's running to?
Got it.
That was kind of an interesting, I don't know, I thought it was interesting. We don't really have to talk about it, but it did kind of highlight to me what is emerging as the big difference between Japanese developed and Western developed games.
Well, I was gonna say not necessarily games either. It could be anything.
Oh,
it
yeah,
could
I
be
guess right.
like anime versus actual television shows. I mean, like and movies versus other,
Yeah.
Western style movies. I mean, like there are a lot of non sequiturs in anime that eventually you just accept and say it's
Yeah.
anime.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's part of its charm, right? I would
yeah.
imagine
Well-
that's the way I imagine anime is that like there's not always everything that's explained, but that's what's kind of fun about it. I don't know.
Well, James was talking about this wrestling match that he showed us during VidCon. That was like one of the funniest things.
Oh yeah. So there is on Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Japanese
that
wrestling
explodes when he
match.
falls through, or
No,
not that
What
one.
is that?
Or the stormtrooper helmet.
Oh, Shockmaster? No. No. There was
Shock bastard.
this was a Japanese wrestling match. I don't know from when.
Oh, this, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a referee. Some guy got pinned, and the referee counted 2, but then he couldn't bring himself to count 3. And then eventually, the thing froze. The whole arena froze, and the lights went down. And then a big video screen showed that the referee had a very personal, intimate relationship with the wrestler who was getting pinned. They had a wonderful time in the park. It's just like a slideshow to music, and he was like, "I can't do it. I can't do it." But then the whole moment was a freeze in time, so it was like
In real time.
in real
Like,
time,
in a
it was
real
like
wrestling
this is
match.
what's
And
happening
then
in
the
his
slideshow's
head.
like playing on like the big
The-
jumbotron. or
yeah, the
whatever.
idea was it faded to black, and now we are inside that guy's head,
Yeah.
seeing it, and it's like that's fantastic. That's thoroughly entertaining on every single level.
It reminds me of the what was it called? The PWC, the
Pro Wrestling Gorilla.
Pro Wrestling Gorilla. Yeah,
Yeah.
with that where like there was like these two brothers, or was it the Super Best Friends or whatever? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Best Friend Squad or whatever, and their whole thing is they're just best friends. And then one of them has an invisible cum rag.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he threw the invisible cum rag on a guy, and he's like, "Oh God!" And
Yeah.
it was like,
So
we're like, this is the
basically,
most
yeah.
amazing thing I've ever seen.
So basically, there was like some guy I think did a taunt
Yeah.
He did like a jerk off taunt, right? But it was one of those like bah, right?
Yeah, and he goes, "Ah!"
Except the guy reacted to
Oh.
it. But then the guy who got hit reacted to it so dramatically that he had to go grab a towel
Yeah.
and smear it off. But for the rest of the event, for like the next
pretended?
2.5 hours, that rag was covered in cum.
Got it.
So that rag would be grabbed by someone else in a completely different match, thrown in their face and go, ah, I got cum in my face. Like,
Wrestling, you guys just made me realize that wrestling is the ultimate playing with your friends.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like it's you. Whenever you get together with your friends, like and you're really young, you're like 8, 9, 10. You have crazy imaginations and you get to do really cool stuff. And it doesn't matter what you have.
Yeah.
You can pretend you have a sword, you can pretend you have a shield, whatever. It doesn't matter. And you can jump at each other. That's what this sounds like to me. Is you're pretending all the way through it, and the cum rag is a good example of like something that's so completely and totally fake. And we already know wrestling's fake, but but like it's not that fake. But with that, it's complete imagination.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Well, it's funny
kinda
because
fun,
you as
I
the
guess.
audience are sold. I was likening it to the Japanese wrestler thing because you're talking about like, it's funny to think like, I'm not saying like Japanese games are better than Western, but like I do like that people are thinking about this now, where it's like, okay, Batman beat up this henchman. Well, what if he had a backstory?
Right.
What's his story? Now all of a sudden you go, shit, maybe
Yeah.
Batman's in the wrong. like
yeah,
I don't know.
Is the rationalization more entertaining than the result?
Yeah.
Is
Right.
sometimes the question you have to ask with like stuff like this. You know, if it's just exciting, and I do this a lot with movies too. I don't care if it's dumb and it doesn't make sense, as long as the payoff for Ninja Turtles 2 is a lot like this. That's the problem with Ninja Turtles 1 versus Ninja Turtles 2. Ninja Turtles 1 was really worried that you would criticize it for how little sense it made,
Yeah.
right? Whereas Ninja Turtles 2 is like, fuck it, who
Doesn't
cares?
matter,
Yeah, whatever. Like,
By the
let's
way,
go
here's
have fun.
Krang. Yeah.
Yeah, here's Krang. He shows up in the middle of nowhere, and he's there's a dimension. We don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like none
The
of it
giant
matters.
turtles talking.
And whereas Ninja Turtles 1 spends a lot of time, and they probably budgetary reasons had something to do with it, but like a lot of times with Megan Fox having to go after the reasoning for whatever you are about to see, and it doesn't matter. No one cares.
Well, so it's kind of a funny thing too. I'm realizing this. So remember Roger Rabbit and how
No,
people
never
were
heard
like,
of him.
well, I'm just saying, okay, what a neat idea, right?
Okay.
Let's shoot live action, and then we'll put cartoons over the live action slate, and then that way it's like this weird blend. That's really all Transformers and
that's
Ninja
it.
Turtles are
That's all
right
it
now,
is.
where it's like, but animation instead of doing cell shaded, it's this 3D model.
It's
and
close to realistic.
It's getting pretty close, where you're like, now you can't really, you can tell the difference, but like, it's just becoming that. So like when I watch movies like that, I go, oh, it's just like Roger Rabbit. I feel less like I have any sort of, I'm not offended in any way.
Well, you're able to suspend your disbelief, which is kind of cool.
Well, I feel like I'm just watching these are how cartoons are made now.
Yeah.
You just watch it that way, and you're like, okay, that's fine.
Well, it's funny. You guys are always talking about the garbage movies that you like these movies that I know are bad, and I'm going to go in and not enjoy.
Ninja Turtles was okay.
And I mean, well, it's for me, it's me personally, it's really hard for me to.
You want to feel something.
Enjoy a bad movie. I typically want to feel something because movies to me are very they're almost a religious experience. Like I go expecting something, some sort of feeling, and if it's like a Gods of Egypt or a Ninja Turtles 2 or whatever, I'm just sort of like, well, I could have watched that anytime, anywhere, and not paid for it. And that's why I watch Arrow and Flash because they're free.
They're religious experiences.
They're not good. They are absolutely not good. They're garbage. And that's why I watch them because I can suspend my disbelief just enough.
Yeah, it
to
gets
be
you
like,
there.
Who gives a shit?
Because I think human beings in general kind of want to get there at some point.
Yeah,
they don't want to necessarily everything in life to have stakes.
Yes.
Sometimes removing the stakes is just as entertaining as having them.
Well, so I won't spoil it, but so Veep ended, the season ended, and it's not the happiest of endings. It leaves it kind of open, but like I went on the subreddit. I'm just like, I wonder what people are saying about it. Kind of curious. And one guy goes, I don't like when people do this. Like, why can't everything be happy? And I was just like, this guy was having a hard time articulating that he was trying to say that entertainment should be fun.
There should be like, right, yeah.
Yeah, and it shouldn't
Happy
be real.
ending, yeah.
Whereas like Veep is one of the more like, it's not a realistic show, but it's like, it is grounded.
I've always
in a
liked
way.
Veep because they could inject emotion into an otherwise funny situation. And like sometimes there are some good scenes where like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, you can see her reflect on what's actually happening around her, and she's very sad.
Yeah.
And it's like, which I like. I think that's kind of cool.
Also, I'm going to blow that one Reddit commenter's mind, but hey, you know what sometimes makes really good comedy? Tragedy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, like
Yeah.
if everything's happy all the time, it means that the humor is just going to be worse and worse.
Right.
Like,
Well, I think that's why people. It is a thing. People always. If you'll see like test audiences, and they'll be like, "I didn't like the sad ending of Brazil. Make it happy." And you're like,
Yeah.
well, but
You're
then.
not supposed to like
But
it.
yeah, life isn't happy, and they're like, well, I don't watch movies
Yeah.
to simulate life. Which is at the same time, within the same breath, someone will go, "That wasn't realistic." And you're like, well.
And that's when you hit. That's when you hit the problem between a movie needing to serve its audience and a movie wanting to tell its own thing.
Yeah.
It's always a balancing act, and sometimes that fucking shit, man.
Holy balls.
Sorry. Anyway, sometimes that dividing line can get hard because since we live in a capitalist society, shit needs to make money.
Yep.
And then there's always that trade-off. I always remember eternally the ending of I Am Legend, which pretty good movie.
Which one? Oh, the
Yeah. The
The
theatrical.
Will Smith
Will
one.
Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's
which
two
ending?
endings.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I saw both because I watched it on DVD well after the fact.
But
And I was
the
like,
movie ending?
Brag
yeah,
about it.
The movie ending.
and one is just
Theatrical
like a
ending.
super Christian middle America movie, like God is real and He's protecting all of us. Don't worry. Here's a church in the background of this final shot, just so you know. A lot of like just ham-fisted, like we have to make this happy type stuff.
The
And to
original
me, it
ending,
completely neutered
the original
tone of the
ending,
movie.
he sacrifices himself like a Jesus-like character
Yeah.
for the vampires.
Yeah, yeah,
and
because
then
he
the
understands
little
that.
family goes off and they're like, we have the cure now or something, right?
Yeah, which
But then the
kind of undermines
the
what
other
made the
ending,
book interesting.
The other ending is, correct me if I'm wrong, they're like, bro, you're the only one left,
Yeah.
asshole. You're killing us.
Well, the
in middle of
vampires
night?"
basically they walk in, they take the guy's like girlfriend. He's like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he gives-
you're the bad guy, and he's
gives-
like, "Oh shit."
He goes and finds some kind of like. It looks like he's stunned. Anyway, he goes and finds some kind of like Christian settlement somewhere, where people live down home, and he basically gives up his big city lifestyle to go live with the Lord, because there's a church very prominently displayed in this like. Frontier town that they've set up in the wilderness of New York or whatever. I don't know, man. I saw that and I was like, wow, the tone of this entire movie just shifted entirely to give people a shitty happy ending.
I've never read the book. I read the Wikipedia entry of like because everyone's like book's so much better, and I'm one of those people where I'm like, look, you can make changes,
Sure.
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well,
read Lord of the
yeah.
Rings. You want to see that adapted one to one? How much singing do you want?
We were talking. We were talking about
They had
V
singing
for
in the
Vendetta.
movies.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah, it was much more.
it served a better purpose.
Yeah,
Than,
it
V
did,
for
absolutely did.
Vendetta.
yeah.
I think is one of the best adaptations. Like it's a
movie.
perfect example of an adaptation from some other medium to a different medium because they change a lot, but a lot you can understand where like there's commercial changes here, but it still has a similar resonance to the original graphic novel, minus a lot of the bullshit and some of the shitty art.
I actually never read V for Vendetta.
I-
What was
I
the biggest
did.
what was the biggest difference that they changed from the
Well, I
comic?
mean, he's right. Like the story's like way more convoluted in the comic book,
Really?
and also the art is kind of garbage.
It's
like,
there's
you
like
don't know what's happening,
and you
like,
don't. No character really looks that different from the other character.
Every-
like
I mean,
there's V, right?
But then everything else is a
And
British man.
All of the government agents are all just British dudes, and you have to like start every chapter and go like, all right, I need to remind myself which British dude this is.
Yeah. And
I love the
obviously-
movie.
Obviously, Natalie. No, the movie, and like James has said over and over, the movie itself is such a good adaptation because it turns the story that's kind of convoluted. I get what they're going for in the comic book. Into a really exciting movie to watch. Like it's actually really fun and again makes you feel something and like it's a I wouldn't read the comic book.
It doesn't
If I read
end with him tossing super space knives and then like
Yeah.
doing stuff like that. It basically
So cool,
ends
though.
with someone
That
getting
was-
the jump on him.
I
and
feel like that
shooting
was
him.
just there so the Wachowskis could attach their
Yeah.
name to there and be like, yeah, look.
But it
Well, it
works.
was part of
But
the cinematic adaptation.
and it
They were
works,
like,
yeah.
it won't pay off this movie if this badass dude doesn't do something badass
Well,
before the movie ends.
And I was gonna say, like everyone, he's a super soldier. The government worked on him, like so he is actually really powerful. In the comic book, they don't use that. I
Was he
always
a
like-
super soldier? I thought he just burned his skin.
No, they
No,
were
like-
experimenting on all those people that
That's why
they
he's so
put in the
fucking
concentration
giant, and like
camps.
he's walking out of the fire, and like he's.
I thought he had like he just couldn't feel pain or something.
Well, I mean,
like
I'm pretty
that.
sure they
They
got
were
rid of that.
yeah,
too.
they were trying to create super soldiers, and so they were experimenting, and he was like the only one that survived. He
Oh,
was
okay,
in,
gotcha.
He was in cell 5.
And that's why it's so cool that like with the the sweet knives and stuff, when he gets shot by all the guns, and then
Yeah.
like, because he can withstand that.
Yeah.
They don't use that in the comics.
He has like that metal plate, but then he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
He like puts one metal plate right here, which is great too, because it's like bulletproof vest. Why don't you shoot him anywhere else?
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I got the metal plate, so that way at least I can stay standing and be like a symbol or whatever. But then it's just like, he's just like, fuck.
My favorite part.
I'm covered in bullets everywhere else.
This always happens whenever I watch movies. I always look in the background. So like, there's always like, there's a scene where all the V for Vendetta, or the V's, or the Guy Fawkes mask are walking up, and there's a guy who jumps down from a ledge and he trips and he kind of fumbles over, and I always notice him, and I'm like, you had one shot and you fucked it up. But then again, it's like, well, it's kind of realistic. Like, okay, I mean, it's obviously based on a comic book, but you're like, yeah, people fall over, whatever.
That's true.
He did.
That's true.
Like,
I would like to see modern wearers of Guy Fawkes masks try and jump over something.
Yeah,
They'd probably
they can't see
their shins
anything.
would evaporate the moment they hit the ground. Sorry if you're wearing a Guy Fawkes mask. Get your laptop out there. I'm sure you're doing the Lord's work, launching a DDoS attack against some website. Anyway, on that note, we'd like to remind you that this podcast is also sponsored by Audible. If you'd like to pick up your literature, I don't know if you can listen to V for Vendetta. That'd be pretty cool, though.
you can probably listen to I Am Legend.
There you go. You can listen to I Am Legend, and then when somebody brings it up on a podcast, you can weigh in on it. Seriously though, if you're fighting that young 20s game, you want to sound as smart as you can at all times.
Young 20s.
Lest somebody discover that you're not as intelligent as you pretend to be. I'm talking about myself right now, not our listeners. Just in case that wasn't clear.
You know what I really wish? I wish I had Audible in college.
Yeah, right?
Think about all the texts and stuff,
You'd
like
never have to
literary
read it.
class.
Yeah.
You'd be able to like comprehend so much better, and like you could multitask. That's like the kind of all college kids do is sit at computers and listen to music and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, Elise was talking about, or I think you might have been as well, how you can listen to it when you're working out, when you're buying groceries, and you have to go outside and get a potato and a box of condoms. You can also be absorbing wonderful culture in the process, or garbage culture. Hey, whatever. If you want to be that person who always drops that you read all the Game of Thrones books, just get them on Audible.
James.
You should specify though that you didn't read them.
No,
You listen to
There are
Absolutely
some
not.
things you can be like, yeah, I read. No one will care. But the Game of Thrones books, I never pretend or put up the airs that I have read them. I
you
go,
have
they
to.
were read to me by a kind old man.
Oh, bullshit. Own it, man. Take all the credit. Who cares? So you can get a free 30-day trial membership by going to audible.com/dudesoup. As we mentioned before, Audible's pretty cool. It's not actually like it's not really like a Netflix. You get tokens for being a member, and then you redeem those on audiobooks that you then own and can do with whatever you wish. So once more, that's audible.com/dudesoup for a free 30-day trial. Make your commute or your workout or your job more emotionally resonant with narratives from audible.com today. So thank you, Audible. Really appreciate your sponsorship. And I think that's actually it for this episode of Dude Soup.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yep.
We're gonna beat RTX.
Yeah, we're gonna beat RTX.
Yeah, we'll beat
Hey,
RTX.
come.
And we're doing lots of signings, lots of panels, all that other stuff. There is one thing that if you guys, I mean, in the very rare case you haven't bought tickets for RTX, you can use code Funhaus to get 10% off tickets for RTX.
Yeah.
In the case that you want to come and you're in Austin or around the area.
We're leaving Thursday
Yes.
to be there, and it goes. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be a busy few days.
Because then we got to recover when we get back, too. Get our content schedule back on.
I can say I'm very excited about the Funhaus panel. We talked about doing some stuff tomorrow, or yesterday we talked about doing like a bunch of stuff.
Very,
that was
very
fun. We put you're actually getting a little peek.
Oh,
This is how much work we put into our panels about the week of. We go, we should do this, but they always end up being fun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna be lots of fun.
It's not something that like we planned months ago and we're like, oh, they're gonna love this. We're always like, what could be fun and cool to do?
Yeah.
So there'll be some fun stuff.
It's gonna be fun.
I highly recommend you go.
And coming up, we got the Dude Soup post show. Gonna look at some fan art, take some comments from the audience, address some comments. It's gonna be a good time. Talk more about the millennial woes in today's America. No, I think we moved on from that. People are mad about us talking about fan fiction too much now.
Which I didn't.
so-
I was never a part of that, so I don't know what happened there.
Huh? What do you mean?
The fan
that-
fiction
Yeah.
extravaganza. You'll see.
Well, no, we have to stop because people are getting mad now. But anyway,
Sorry.
we'll expand upon that in the post show, so please stay tuned if you're a sponsor. If not, consider checking it out on roosterteeth.com.
First.
Yeah, firsts. Damn it.
Be a firsted. Get a first.
Anyway,
There
see
come
you
the
soon,
soup
guys.
cans.
There they are.
Yeah, Omar saying, be done.
He's saying
stop.
stop. I know.
Sorry,
stop
Omar.
talking.
We love you.
Most games that are considered classic now were not considered that when they came out. I would have argued that Mega Man 1, the first one, is not very good. It was really 2 that kind of took the series off, and 3 was kind of a legitimization
What did we play
of
on
the
the
whole.
live stream?
Huh?
What did we play on the
2.
live
2,
stream?
that was
two?
Mega Man
Okay.
2.
That was
Yeah.
the first good one.
Okay.
I played Mega Man 1 a couple times. The platforming physics are kind of fucked up. The level design isn't so hot. The backgrounds aren't very good. The Robot Masters are okay. And it introduced a lot of the template that